Shalom, Israel, with the Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. Right? Not affiliated with any other Israelite group, nor any other Christian organization. So, Lakia, had some trouble getting on. Make sure y'all put your name, city, and state into the live chat. Put one into the live chat as well, or just check in as well. Put name, city, and state in the live chat. And let me make sure everyone can hear me. If you guys can, let me know if you guys can hear me. All right. Before we go any further, let me know if you guys hear me or not. All right. Okay, Most High in Christ. All right, I see the young man here, Most High in Christ, coming in. Okay. Can everybody hear me that's on there? Most High in Christ. All right. So remember, tonight's the Hebrew class. Something very important. All right. Something so important. I mean, very important. We got to understand something about the Lashawan Qadash. It's a part of our culture. It's a part of the traditions that the Lord passed down to us. Like, this is a part of our culture, our heritage. Like, these are a part of the customs that Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans that we need to learn. Like, we don't need to take this lightly at all. Like, this is not a light thing. To learn your language, all right, is not a light thing. It's not something to just put on the back burner, all right? Like, you really know you're in the truth or not if you know this Hebrew. You understand? Now, I'm not saying no brothers in the truth or sisters in the truth because they can't speak Hebrew, nothing like that. That's not what I'm saying. But you can distinguish who really takes this truth serious, referring to these brothers and sisters that may not actually be in the truth, but they say that they are, and they just television, not even television, Facebook, internet pop stars damn near talking about they an Israelite. Like, it takes more than just talking about being an Israelite. Like, the point of being an Israelite is to come back to our culture and actually do the things that the Lord wants us to do. And one of them is to come back to our language. Like, most importantly, to know the Hebrew is so important because you're not going to understand the Bible, all right, unless, and I mean unless you know the Hebrew, all right? You're not going to know the Bible unless you know the Hebrew. The Hebrew is going to help you understand the Bible more than you may know the Bible now. You understand? A lot of words that are in the Hebrew, all right, put into the English gives the meaning in English a total different meaning. And that's also spiritual, which is also written in the Bible as well, that speaking in the original tongue is going to give something more meaning. All right, it has more power behind it. I'm paraphrasing the scripture, but you can find it in Ecclesiasticus chapter 1, verse 1. Like, I want everyone to go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 1, verse 1, and y'all can actually read that entire first prologue entering the book of Ecclesiasticus. And something so heavy within it. All right, something so heavy within it. So lock it. Making sure everybody get it. All right, Ecclesiasticus chapter 1. All right, and I'm gonna get what it says. All right. Let me see right here. This is right here. Let me see. Hold on. Let me get Ecclesiasticus chapter 1 for y'all. This is something really important too. All right. But yeah, let me get this. Ecclesiasticus chapter 1. I had it written down here. Ecclesiasticus chapter 1, verse 1. It says, for the same things. Now, I'm in Ecclesiasticus chapter 1 and 1. It says, for the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another language. Salakia, into another tongue have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets, all right, and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. Like it's very important out and over again that we know how to speak the language of our forefathers and the language of our ancestors. All right. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get started. All right. Make sure y'all don't forget to sign in. Can everybody see the board clearly too? Can everybody see the board clearly? Kind of just let me know if y'all can see the board clearly too. It seems like it's good on my end. The board should be clear. The sound should be good too as well. All right. Most High in Christ. So what we're getting right here is the alphabet. Now the alphabet is very, very important, all right? That's one of the first things that you learn. The first thing you want to learn is the alphabet. Okay, that's what's going to help you understand the language. All right? That's what's going to help you understand the language. And make sure you guys write this into your notes. Okay. So what we have on the board is the alphabet. The alphabet is one of the first things you want to learn in the Hebrew, all right? All right, the alphabet is so important to learn, and the reason why it's important because our alphabet helps us learn the words in our language because it's literally the same sound. Like our letters put in certain areas and positions do not change all right, the sound of our words. All right, our words are actually very, very easy to understand, very easy to pronounce because our alphabet, all right, is because of our alphabet. So, like, I almost sound like I was going to say something else after that, but that's not the case. So, our alphabet, all right, is exactly like it. Our alphabet, the way our alphabet is sounds, the sounds of our alphabet is exactly how our words are going to sound. Like if you put a I next to a da, and then you put it next to a ha, my ha or my da doesn't change. It will just sound like ah, da, and a ha. Okay? Let me know if I'm making any sense to you guys. Just let me know. If not, that's fine. Because it's all going to come together. It's all going to piece together just in a bit, all right? Let me get the Facebook up and going. If anybody's on Facebook, let me know. Make sure you guys can also see and hear. All right. I know on the YouTube, you guys are good. You guys are good to go on the YouTube. But on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, all right, let me know if it's good to go. I'm about to test it myself as well. Okay, I see it. Okay. Everything looks good on the end too. All right. So what we have here, this is your I. All right. In our alphabet, this pronounced I. Most High in Christ. So Facebook is good. Most High in Christ. So this is your I. This is your ba. This is your ga. This is your da. This is your ha. This is your wa. This is your za. This is your ha. This is your ta. This is your ya. This is your ka. This is your la. This is your ma. This is your na. This is your sa. This is your I. This is your pa. This is your taza. This is your qua. This is your ra. This is your sha. This is your tha. Now, if you notice, everything sounds the same. Like everything sounds very similar, right? We have a constant sound within our language. That's what makes our language so easy to be understood and so easy to be spoken. Like this is not the English language. This is not Spanish where certain words just don't match together. And when certain letters are put next to each other, they make different sounds. Like the English language is actually one of the hardest languages to learn because of how much it changes when you put letters together. Some words in the English damn near have no vowels in it, and it makes some weird and abstract sounds. Well, Brakatha Yahweh Yahushai, that in our language, meaning thank the Most High, right? We have a constant sound. Nothing changes. The only sound that's different within our language is the letter I. And if you guys notice very carefully, it's a circle. So why is the letter I a circle? Well, let me break it down to you. At one point in time, now anyone new to class, y'all may have heard this before, or anyone that's not new to class, you may have heard this before. But anyone new in class, this is for you. Okay. The reason why the letter I is a circle, due to the fact that at one point in time, our language was pictographic, meaning our alphabet, our letters were pictures. They were not actual characters and symbols that they are now. They were once pictographic. They were pictures. Like think of those hieroglyphics um, on the wall in Egypt. All right, they had like the picture of like a bird, an eye, a ladder, all these type of things, right? Well, our language was the very same way. A lot of ancient languages were very similar in the very same way. So, with that being said, the letter I literally comes from your actual eye. Okay, it actually comes from your actual eye, and your eyes are circular, right? So, this is the reason why it's like that. That's the reason why it's circular like that. So, make sure you guys put this into your notes, all right? And make sure you guys write down that alphabet. You guys want to take very good notes onto the alphabet due to the fact that this is what's going to help us learn this language, all right? Also, if you guys have any questions and like if you guys would like to know a word or you guys want to know how to say a certain word in the Hebrew, Please ask in the class. Now, okay, you guys want to learn the Hebrew, then you guys want to take it serious. All right, you guys want to take it very, very serious. This is how we're going to learn our language. All right, as so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we are God's chosen people, and this was once our language. Like this is what we once spoke before the slavery, before the suffering, before the lynching, before the murder, before the English, before the Spanish, the conquistadors, the Puritans, you name it. We spoke this. This was our language. So happily, this is God's language. Like this is the language that God speaks. This is the language that the angels speak. This is the language that the Bible was written in. Like this is such a powerful language. Don't take it for granted. So in tonight's lesson, we're going to focus on, all right, how to pluralize pronouns. All right, we left off on that yesterday more in detail, but what we're going to do is we're going to actually break everything down the way it's supposed to. So pluralize pronouns, and we're also going to know how to make nouns pluralized as well within this lesson. All right. So, for anybody out there, does anybody know how to make a noun plural in the Hebrew? Does anybody already know? Can anybody type in the live chat? Does anybody know already how to pluralize a noun? Not a pronoun, but a noun. So does anyone know how to pluralize a noun in class? Let's see if anyone's ahead of the game. All right. Anybody? Anybody know how to pluralize a noun? Let's find out. Also, no one knows already. All right. If you are so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, you are God's chosen people according to the Bible, according to these scriptures. All right. If you guys did not know this already, anyone new to class, I know this might be something new, but you are God's people. All right. The Lord chose you to be His people. All right. The young man answered, "You put a yum at the end of it." Okay, you add a yum. Most High in Christ. That is true. All right. That is very true. You add a yum at the end of that noun. Okay, that's exactly how you pluralize a noun. Is you put a yum at the end of it. All right, so this is what we're gonna do right here. We're gonna put pluralized noun. Pluralized noun. So then we're going to get into pluralized pronouns. But first things first, we're going to break down how to pluralize noun. So to pluralize a noun, all right, a yum, like it, all right, a yum, all right, a Yum. So when you want to pluralize a noun, all right, pluralize nouns, you would add a yum, all right? You would add a yum at the end of a noun to make it plural. Okay, so remember that one note. To pluralize a noun, the majority of nouns, okay, you're going to add, you would add a yum at the end of it. Just like in English, if you wanted to pluralize a word, okay, you would add a y, okay, at the end. I mean not a y, it's like you would add a s at the end of that word or at the end of that noun, okay, in order, in order for you to pluralize that one noun. Well, in Hebrew, the same concept applies, but our is yum, a ya and a ma put together, which makes the sound yum. All right. Let's see something here. All right. Bear with me 1 second. Let me see. Find this for me. Now, to go into further detail, all right, if you guys are ready for this step, this is the masculine form. Now, make sure you guys add that to your notes that this would be the masculine form. All right, this is the masculine form of it. All right, so to pluralize a noun in the masculine form, okay, I'm gonna say masculine form for I can say masculine form in this case, all right, because if you're going to say this, if the noun is more so masculine, or it's being towards, or it's being said more so in a masculine way, but if the noun is masculine, you would how can I say it? You will pluralize it in a masculine way by putting a yum at the end of the word. All right, so it goes at the end of a noun to make it plural because the yum is the masculine form of it, which means what? There is a feminine form of pluralizing a noun. There is a feminine form of pluralizing a noun. Now, does anybody want to give it a shot? How you would pluralize, all right, in the masculine tense? Anybody want to give it a shot? How would you pluralize it in the feminine tense? Anybody want to give it a shot? Nobody want to give it a shot? No sweat.
Uh,
Go ahead.
so like you, sir, will be what?
Wah. You said it again?
What?
Wah. Well, goddamn, man. You been coming to class or something now? Goddamn. No sweat. Well, Khan, that's true. The brother's correct. To pluralize in the feminine form, all right, would be wah. I was expecting Salakia. I was expecting really, I mean, goddamn, Salakia. Most time in Christ. Most brothers and sisters really may not know that, but most time in Christ. All right. Why? Or maybe y'all did know, and y'all just afraid to answer me, but that's no sweat. That happens. You don't gotta be nervous. It's okay to, you know what I'm saying? It's okay to answer if you may, or just, if you don't know, you don't know. There's nothing wrong with that. So you would add a why at the end. All right. Why? You would add a why. And the why would be the feminine form. Let me see. That's spelled feminine, right? No sweat, no sweat. So now why? All right, you would put this in the feminine form. Okay. Now, what makes something okay? Now, if we know, now this might be for brothers and sisters that may know a little Hebrew, but I'm still going to break it down. I can't have that there, so you guys can still see a little. Let's see. Does that help? Let me know when all those. Let me see if all those glares are out. Y'all can see the board, right? Yeah, those glares, all right. Okay, so this might be for. All right. So we have the yum. The yum is how you would pluralize a verb in the masculine form. Now, what would how you would pluralize a noun, all right, in the feminine form. Meaning the noun is feminine, right? So you would use what at times, right? It could fluctuate. And if the noun is masculine, you would use young. Depending who you're talking to, it can be masculine or feminine, regardless if the noun is feminine or if it's masculine or feminine. It just depends, right? So now, for instance, you got the Blue Letter Bible? You got the Blue Letter Bible app?
I don't have the app, but I can pull it up.
If you can pull up the Blue Letter Bible and give me the chapter, give me Numbers chapter 1. All right, give me Numbers chapter 1. And I want you to give me the interlinear of Numbers chapter 1. And I'm gonna get it on my end too, so come. Anyone in class right now too, real quick. Make sure you guys put into your go ahead and get that Blue Letter Bible while we're waiting real quick. While the brother pulls everything up, while you're in class, if you can, depending on how you're watching class, look up the Blue Letter Bible. Download the app so you can follow along on what we're doing. Get this back call. It's called the Blue Letter Bible. It's an app or website. It gives you the interlinear coordinates of what it's saying in the Hebrew. All right. Now, what it's saying in the Hebrew, it's going to be the Yiddish way. All right, it'll have vowels in it, but that's not the real Hebrew. Just follow along. But what you're going to do is you're going to make it into a constant sound like we're doing here, which is the original tongue, which is how it's supposed to be spoken. All right, because remember, Hebrew didn't have any vowels in it. Okay, that's something new. They made that up because their language had vowels in there. All right. Let me know when you got numbers.
And then, yeah, I have it.
So now I want you to get verse. Um, I'll get verse 2. So now I want you guys to hold chapter Numbers chapter 1. I want you guys to hold Numbers chapter 1 verse 2 in the Hebrew. All right. Now I'm gonna read it real quick. All right, it's a quick one. All right, I'm gonna read it real quick, but this is going to go into our lesson to break this down. So I'm going to write it in the Hebrew. All right, as well, so you guys see an example of everything. All right. So it says, Sha'awa afra ash kaul aidas banya yasha'ala lama shapachafma labayat abafma. All right. Ba bama sapor shamwa kaul zakar lagalal thumb. All right. It's like a galat. All right. La gala galatma. All right. So now, the reason why I read it out loud like that, because I want you guys to hear the sound of the language and how it's read and how it's supposed to be said in the Hebrew. Now let's get to the point where I'm getting at. Remember, young is how you will pluralize a noun in the masculine. Wap is how you will pluralize, all right, a noun in the feminine. Now I want you guys to catch on to something here, because this is going to help you guys read the Hebrew as well. So I'm going to take this off the board. I'm going to write something else.
Sure. You want me to get that Numbers chapter 1 verse 2 in the blue letter, or you want me to get the regular one?
No, I want you can, if you want to read it, yeah, translate it actually. Read it in the English for the brothers. Put it out there. I didn't read the English form. So go ahead.
But in the blue letter, it tells you just kind of like paraphrasing. So you want me to use the regular translation?
If you can, yeah, if you can. It doesn't actually give you the scripture as well in the blue letter Bible, no sweat. Usually it does. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. Probably. All right. The brother's going to read the scripture and what it says in the English, and this is the reason why I pulled the scripture. You're going to hear it. All right. But before we do that, let's get these pronouns. Now, if you guys remember from last week's class, we went briefly over these pronouns when you want to pluralize something. Now, keep everything in mind. I'm going to give it to you the regular way. All right? So I'm going to do it again. You have your ya, which is mine. You have your yaka, which is your. Got your yaha. It's like a yawa. Which is his. You got your yaha. Which is hers. Now the reason why you see, all right, you look on the board carefully. You see your ya is mine, your ka is your wa is his, your yaha is her. So meaning, if you wanted to put a noun, okay, but that noun needs to be pluralized, you would say ya or ya ka, ya wa or yaha, depending on who you're talking about, okay, and whatever the case may be. If you're talking about a person's possession, depending on the gender, you would either use your wa or yaha. If you're talking about your something, like someone, like that's yours, if I'm saying this is yours, right? Those are your cars. I would put your car at the end of marakab, which means car or chariot or something that you ride at the end of the day. All right. I would put marakab yaka because those are your cars. If I say these are my cars, I can just leave it the same and put a ya. Where does that ya come from? All right. That ya, all right, that ya that you see, that ya that you see, it comes from yum. So you see those three underlines on that yum? That's where it comes from. So the reason why it's your ka, your wa, your ha, and so far and so forth, because it comes from the yum. So instead of saying, let's say you wanted to say, instead of saying yum, instead of saying yumka, right? Instead of saying yum ka, right? Everybody can still see? Instead of saying yumka, you would just say yucca. Everybody get the point? You drop the ma and you keep the ya. Go ahead, Sophie.
Yeah, so like you, sir. Where do the connectors come in?
Okay, that's a good question. So the connectors come in when you okay, the rule grammatically, right? You have to know the root word. So let's say the root word is rakab, right? Let's say the root word is rakab. Those has three letters, right? A ra, a ka, and a ba. So instead of saying rakaba, the last letter in that word, that ah sound is always dropped. That's the rule. So if you don't pronounce it as rakaba, it's pronounced as rakab because that ah sound at the end is always dropped. Does that make sense? That's where the connectors come in. So those connectors come in. You're going to have to, and in reality too as well, to get used to when to put a connector somewhere, you're going to have to constantly study the language and when to use it and when not to use it. All right, you're going to have to just study a lot of words and study them and know, okay, this is how it's pronounced, this is how you say it, this is what it looks like. You're going to have to just keep coming to the Hebrew class and just ask questions just like that. Just keep asking questions just like that. Okay, so is everybody tracking? All right. The reason why it's a yaka and the yawa and the yaha because it comes from yum, which is the pluralized nouns, but you drop the ma and you keep the possessive. Because remember, the ka is letting you know it's possessive. The wa is letting you know it's possessive. The ha is letting you know that it's a possessive pronoun, right? It's possessive. but that ya in front of it is letting you know that the noun is pluralized. That ya is letting you know that it's pluralized. The noun is pluralized. Does everybody get the point? Is everybody tracking? Just let me know if I'm confusing anyone, or I'll break it down one more time. Read that scripture for the brothers and sisters.
Come. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 2. Take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel.
Now remember, the Lord was talking to Moses, right? The Lord is talking to Moses, all right, and he's giving Moses an order what to do to the children of Israel in the wilderness. Like, this is after Egypt. We left Egypt. We got the hell up out of there. We out and about. We're trying to establish the nation of Israel. All right? Go ahead. We're trying to be a nation again.
Go. After their families.
One more time.
After their families.
So families, what is that? That's a pluralized what? That's a pluralized noun. Families is a pluralized noun. So keep that in mind. Families. It's not saying family, but it's saying families. Go ahead.
By the house of their fathers.
But the house of their fathers. Fathers. Now, it says their fathers. What is their? Anybody tell me what a there is? What is there? Go ahead and tell me what a there is, soldier. Also online, what's like it? What is the word there? T-H-E-I-R, there. What is that? While you guys give that to me in the live chat, I'm going to get the rest up here.
Salaki, is it R?
What you mean? What you mean R?
R, like there, like that's in there. R.
Well, no. That would be T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E. This there is spelled what?
T-H-E-R-E or T-H-E-I-R.
And that would be considered a what in the English? That's correct, soldier, on the board. Online. Young man Alfred, that's correct. Want to try one more time? What kind of noun would that be? Or what kind of pronoun would that be? And think about what we're teaching.
That's a possessive.
That's a possessive pronoun. All right? So there is a possessive pronoun. Right. They're possessive. There is possessive. So it says their fathers. So meaning these fathers are possessed by someone. This is talking to a specific people. You see how important it is to break down words? That's why it's so important to even break down the smallest things. That's why it's so important to know the Hebrew as well, because it gives us more context. Continue reading.
Okay. With the number of their names.
Of their what?
Their names.
And the number of their names. Another possessive pronoun. All right? Does anybody remember the possessive pronoun? All right? For, let me see, hold on. For there. Does anybody remember? Does anybody remember the possessive pronoun for there? Let me see. I'm gonna give it a shout out. What's the possessive pronoun in the Hebrew? Anybody, what's the possessive pronoun in Hebrew for there? Want to give it a shot, soldier?
I don't want to be wrong, but
No sweat, no sweat. It's all right.
well,
You might know it. Who knows? don't sell yourself short yet. All right. Let's see anyone online. Most High in Christ, Florida. Most High in Christ. Okay. Damn right.
would it be?
What to tell you how I was shot? Go ahead.
Would it be your nut?
Now listen, soldier, you're close. All right, but it's not the yana. All right, but you're close. Anybody else want to give it a shot online? How do you say there in the possessive? It's on the board, low key. Y'all, you know, I'm kind of giving it away. But
Is it your mom?
kind of. Well, it's not yama, but it would be ma specifically. But now if it was a pluralized now, then it would be yama. But that's correct. So you got our, y'all. I'm gonna put the masculine for now. Actually, in this case, I'm gonna have to put the position of authority too. Y'all again, but subservient, last, feminine. Keep this in mind. All right. This is going to play a big part into what I'm teaching, right? What I'm about to teach in a second. All right. I'm gonna break everything down. Now, anybody online, let me know if is everybody tracking so far? Say yes or no, and I can easily backtrack to explain myself. But if anyone is lost, please say, I'm lost. Can you explain this to me one more time? All right. Now, of course, if you're just coming into class, I'll just repeat it. All right. No, I'm just going to repeat it anyway. Even if you guys say you guys got it, I'm still going to repeat everything. That's just what I do. So don't think that I'm just going to move on because I'm not. All right. That's not good teaching skills to do so. All right. Just to move on and just assume that everybody gets it. It's not what you do. All right. At least that's not what I do. Okay, Con, everyone's following. Okay, good. So now what we're breaking down right here is this is how you would, these are possessive pronouns. Like your our, you all, their. Like these are all possessive pronouns, but only used with this, like the yanawa, the yakam, the yakan, the yama, or the yana. All right. This is how you would pluralize the noun in conjunction with a pronoun, a possessive pronoun. So you only add the ya in front of the original possessive pronoun if it's in conjunction with a pluralized noun. I'm going to say that one more time. You only use the ya in front of the original possessive pronoun when only it's in conjunction with a pluralized noun. For an example, this Noah alone is the original possessive pronoun. But if it's in conjunction with a pluralized noun, you have to add the ya in front of it, which makes it yanawa. Everybody gets that, right? Kan or la'a? Yes or no? Let me know. So remember that one saying, right? You only put the ya in front of the original possessive pronoun when it's being used in conjunction with a pluralized noun. Man. Also, let me see. So the ya makes the pronoun pluralize to match the pluralized noun. Correct. In front of the possessive pronoun, if that's what you mean. Right, correct. The possessive pronoun. The ya, that ya makes it pluralized. That ya makes that noun pluralized now. That's correct. So yes, so that's correct. So the ya makes the pronoun pluralized to make the pluralized noun. Correct. That's correct. You don't have to add the pronoun pluralized in a way. You don't have to add that part. But in a nutshell, you are correct. Yes, that's exactly what it is. The point of this is to make the noun pluralized. Like in our father, Abanawa. Correct. Okay, like in our father, Abanawa is just because remember, father in that the sister is heavy. That's a perfect example. So, like in the Lord's Prayer, our Father, that's Abanawa. Now, father is what? A noun, but it's not pluralized, right? So I believe they call it a singular. In the English, it's a singular noun. It's not pluralized. So it's just father. So Abanawa. Now, Akwa on the Facebook, all right, Shakar, can you type in how you would say our fathers? Just give it a shot. Say it again. Say it louder. Abanawa
or Anayim.
I can't hear you.
Abinayim.
Look on the board and see if you can figure it out. I think you're trying to say it right.
Yeah.
But look how you would say it. You see the Yanawa. So say it one more time. Say Abba Yanawa.
Yanayawa.
Well, the Yanawa goes at the end. So Abba Yanawa.
Abba Yanawa.
Yeah, so the Yanawa is at the end. Well, I gave the sister the answer pretty much, but I knew she was going to answer it correctly. Okay, so you wanted to say our fathers. Okay, so now you get it. Salakia. Okay, Salakia. I was going to give you guys examples. All right, I just wasn't there yet, but Salakia, you would have understood later on too as well. So Abanawa, right, which would be our father. But if you wanted to say our fathers, you would say Abba Yanawa, because that Yanawa allows that noun to now be pluralized in our language. Okay? Most High in Christ. Okay, so the brother gets it, Most High in Christ. I knew the sister was going to get it, so it'd be Abba Yanawa. Now, okay? This is where it could get a little, it's not, okay. Oh yeah, no sweat. You're too wild. I knew you was gonna get it right, sis. You too wild. So now it's not gonna get tricky from here. I'm gonna write some. Okay. All right. Now remember, it's not gonna get tricky. Okay, it's not gonna get too tricky. So if I want to say, I'm gonna say their fathers, because the sister I brought up that scripture about their families and their fathers. We're going to use those nouns in today's classes. We're going to know how to say father in Hebrew, and we're going to learn how to say family in Hebrew. Father and family are the words of the day in tonight's class, father and family. So you're going to leave this class knowing how to say father, and you're going to know how to say family. Father is Abba, family is Masha Pachah. Okay? But I'm still going to write it on the board. Y'all not going to have to just not be able to see it. So I'm going to give you guys an example. All right? And then I'm gonna break down the scripture in a bit. What I mean by break it down, I'm gonna get it for y'all. So for an example, I want to say their father. If I want to say their father, I got Abba. All right, I got Abba, which is father, right? But if I wanted to say, all right, their father, what am I putting here? If I wanted to say their father, all right, which would equal their father. So if I wanted to say their father, what am I putting here? For anyone to remember their notes, what am I putting there? Go ahead. Ma. That's correct. I'm putting a ma here, right? I'm putting a ma here. I'm going to just write it out. So now I got Abba ma, right? Correct. Well, okay, Abba, it's not Abba Yama. Now, why is it not Abba Yama though, Shakar? Even though that's a good answer, but can you tell me why it's not Abba Yama in this case? So you can see, so you can be able to tell the difference. Do you know why it's not Abba Yama before I give it to you? That was a good answer though. But let me know why it's not Abba Yama. Right, you have to drop the ya. Do you know why do you have to drop it though? In this case? Why are you dropping the ya in this case? I'm gonna give you a hint too. You probably already know without the hint, of course. This is the reason why you're dropping it. What's so significant about it? Anybody else give it a shot too as well? I know the sister's gonna already know too as well, of course. I know. So why is it not Abba Yama and Abba Ma? Can you tell me, soldier?
Because there would be our father
No,
instead of their.
No, not quite. Not that it's the brother got it correct, sis. Not because it's plural, but it's not plural. The father is not plural, so it's only a ma. So now, because the ma is just a singular noun, because the abba is singular, okay, because the noun, okay, so like it's because the noun, which is abba, meaning father, is singular, you only have to say ma, okay, which means their father. That ma is the their, that abba is the father, okay. Remember, our possessive pronouns go after the noun and is attached to the actual word itself. All right, it doesn't come before the noun like in English. So now it's their father. So now, my next question is, anyone online as well, how would you say their fathers? So if I wanted to add a S at the end now, there's an S, meaning their fathers. How would I write it now? How would I write it now? Go ahead.
Obama Young.
Say one more time.
Obama Young.
Abba and what else?
Abba Maya.
Abba Yama. That's you were there. It's Abba Yama.
Abba Yama.
Yeah, Abba Yama. That's correct. Anyone else want to give it a shot? Right. Abba Yama. That's correct, young man. All right, Most High in Christ. So now we're gonna put it Yama. So now, Baba Kwashai, go to the Blue Letter Bible. All right. And I want you to click on the letter. That's correct. Abba Yama. That's correct, Akwaf. Abba Yama. Their fathers. That's correct. Well, you said Abba Yana, which is still correct. The sister is still correct when she says Abba Yana, right? Because this there could easily be talking about a sister's father. Okay? So the sister isn't incorrect when she says Abba Yana. The sister is still correct if she says Abba Yana or Abba Yama. It just depends on who's the there. If the there is talking about a group of sisters, then this is no longer a ma, and it gets turned into a na. Okay? But because in this, I just kept it in the masculine form for the time being. All right? I put it into the over here. Now the reason why I kept it like that, the reason why I didn't say yana, okay? The reason why I didn't say yana is for a reason. All right, and I'm gonna break it down because I want to get the scripture. So do you see? Okay, you see the Blue Letter Bible? Now, I want you to click on the word father in the Hebrew, which is Abba. What does it say? What does it give you?
It gives me a bunch of verses, and where do you want me to go?
Let me see. Okay, go to Numbers. Go back to Numbers chapter 1, verse 2. Yeah, go back to Numbers chapter 1, verse 2. All right. So you got Numbers chapter 1, verse 2. Okay, so click on Abba. So go. So I want you to click on the actual verse. You should be able to click on verse 2. Click on verse 2, and it should give you an option of interlinear Bible. Do you see it? Do you see the Hebrew words? Now look for Abba. Should be an I and a ba, and in this case it might be a thigh at the end. Let me see. What does it tell you? What does it tell you? So let me see. That's correct. Okay, so the brother has Abba, right? Now, if you guys don't have the Blue Letter Bible, make sure you guys get that Blue Letter Bible. So the brother has the Blue Letter Bible up, and he's where it says Abba, right? It says Abba, right? So tell me what kind of noun it is. It should tell you if the noun is feminine or masculine.
It's a masculine.
So Abba is a masculine noun. So Abba is a masculine noun. Naturally, a father would be masculine in most languages, all right? In most languages, father is masculine while mother is more so feminine, right? Naturally. Everything is based off of gender. Your gender matters. All that stuff matters, all right? It may not matter in America, but the Lord does most definitely cares about what gender you are, even in our language. So now you have father. This is a masculine noun. So now we have that, right? Now we have that. Let's say I'm talking. Now remember, even though, now, this is what I want you guys to see. This says Abba. If I'm talking in the masculine form, all right, and I'm just talking in the masculine form, meaning I'm talking to a group of brothers, right? I'm talking to men, right? how would I pluralize this noun without a possessive pronoun? How would I pluralize this noun? What would I add? What would I add at the end of it? Anybody online want to give it a shot? This Abba is a masculine noun, right? It's a masculine noun. But if I'm talking to a group of brothers, and I'm gonna rewrite Abba so it can be more clear and a little neater. To me, I guess it's not neat to me for some reason. I guess I just didn't like how it was written. Let me make it more clear. So how would I pluralize Abba? That's correct. I would add a yum at the end of it. I would add a yum. And the reason why I would add a yum, right? Because it's masculine. All right, it's masculine. This is now saying fathers, just by itself. Fathers. No ownership to anybody yet. It's not showing any possession to it yet. I'm just talking about fathers in general. All right? There's no my fathers, their fathers, his fathers, her, whatever it may be. It has no possession right now. Now it's just by itself. So it'll be abayum. Okay? Because even though the noun is masculine, right? The noun is a masculine noun. But because I'm talking in the masculine tense, okay, or I'm talking in the position of authority tense, okay, it's still going to say young when I pluralize that noun. You guys understand? Fathers. Now, with that being said, now, this might be a trick question, but let's see if anybody was paying attention in last week's class, okay? Let's say I'm talking to someone in the feminine tense or the subservient tense. How would I pluralize this? Now remember, it's a masculine noun, but if I'm talking in the feminine tense or I'm talking in the subservient tense, all right, how would I pluralize it? Go ahead.
It would be abawa.
Correct. It would be abawa. It would be abawa. Okay? It would be abawa. Even though the noun is masculine, you would pluralize it in the subservient tense or the feminine tense because you're speaking to someone that's feminine, right? Like a sister or a group of sisters, right? Now remember, this is just pluralizing it in the singular form, okay? This is in the singular form, okay? This is the singular form only. This is the singular form, okay? Now the reason why I want to bring this up is because when the Lord is talking to the children of Israel in the Bible, he's talking in the feminine tense, or he's speaking to us in the subservient tense, because we are in a position to the Most High, in a position of servant. We're like a wife to the Lord, spiritually, all right? So he's talking to us because he's over us. So he would be talking to us, right, in this form. He wouldn't say Abayam to us because we're not on his level. Does everybody get that point? Like we're not him. We not eye to eye with the Most High. Okay? We never will be. So he's not going to talk to us like Abba Yum. He's going to talk to us in Abba Wa, because we're under him. He's an authority over us. You guys are tracking. You guys are getting the point. So he's going to talk to us. Now here we go. Now this is where it gets a little tricky, right? The reason why I brought this up. Okay, you guys get it, right? Most High in Christ. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. All right? Well, it doesn't get tricky. It's not going to get tricky because I'm going to break it down, okay? When the Lord was talking to Moses, Moses was delivering the message that the Lord gave to him. So when you read the Bible in the Hebrew, you're going to read the Bible and you're going to wonder, why is the nation of Israel and why is his sentence feminine, even though Moses is a man and he's talking, and then he's also talking to a group of brothers and sisters. And if you know the grammar, you're going to be like, well, doesn't the masculine tense take over? No, it doesn't, because the Lord is talking. All right, the Lord is speaking, because these are the words of the Most High. So it's going to be in this form if he was ever speaking. Abba Wa. All right, fathers. Okay, so it does matter who you're talking to, of course. All right, it does matter. Okay, when you're reading the Bible, it for sure matters, so you understand the concept of biblical Hebrew. The way we speak Hebrew on a daily basis is going to be more slang than biblical Hebrew. Allow me to explain further. Like, let's say you and I, we know Hebrew, right? The way we speak to each other isn't going to be how the Bible speaks Hebrew. All right, that's like, for instance, we all been to high school, right? Middle school, we all graduated. We all know how to write, correct? You're not going to speak how you would write a damn essay, would you? Like if you in school and you writing an essay, all right, you writing a persuasive essay, you writing a research paper, and you using top tier grammar, you using all punctuation, like you making sure everything is clear, because someone else is going to be reading this and they don't know who you are. So you're going to have to make sure you are writing everything top tier, because no one knows you, all right? And you're writing it. It has to be done a certain way. Well, the Bible was the same way, all right? It was the same, right? It was written by Israelites, priests and prophets of the Lord, and when they're writing it, it was the grammar to the T. Now, when we're speaking it, all right, it may be a little different, more slang so based, because we just us. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to be all persuasive essay, research paper type of speaker. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're that type of brother or you're that type of sister, there's no sweat. Speak like that. We're just going to look at you like, okay, no sweat. Nerd. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm just joking. No sweat. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to speak proper in the Hebrew, which is still speaking proper. I'm just being funny, by the way, all right? You guys get the point, though, right? You guys understand. Oh, Moses said, don't write like you talk. That's right. Don't write how you talk, because the way you talk ain't how you're supposed to be writing. They're gonna look at you like this person's an idiot. They don't know what the hell they're talking about, and you fail. All right. Same concept, okay? Okay, same concept. So now, Abawa. So when you're reading the Bible, okay, this is the grammar that's implied that you need to know. The Lord is going to be talking to us in the subservient tense, or known as the feminine tense to some. Okay? So Abawa. Now, if I wanted to say, now let's say in context, the Lord is speaking to us. The Most High is speaking to us. And he's saying to tell Moses to gather up their fathers. Right? Let's say their fathers. So now let's say if you want to say their fathers, right? But now let's say the Lord is speaking to us now, and he's saying their fathers. Now remember, this is going to be in the subservient tense. How would you write that? You don't have to give it a shot, by the way, because I'm going to teach this. Unless you guys might know it already, let me know. Okay? If you guys already know it, that's fine. If you guys want to give it a shot, y'all can, but I'm going to teach it if you don't know, because it's something new. Go ahead.
I'm gonna take a shot.
Go ahead.
It would be Abba Mayam,
Do you mean Abba Yama?
Abba Yamam.
Okay. Now, okay, the sister said Abba Yana. Okay, the sister was a little closer, right? Now, even though you said Abba Yama, what the Yama is in what tense? That'd be the masculine tense, right? So we're not talking in the masculine tense because the Lord is speaking, right? So he's not talking to us in the masculine tense. So now,
Okay, it would be Abba Mawa.
well, you said Abba what?
Abba Mawa.
Okay. Did you mean Abba Wathma?
Yeah, but I was trying to.
Is that what you mean? Abba Wathma?
Yeah.
The brother is even closer. Most high in Christ. Now the sister said Abba Yana. Okay, the sister said Abba Yana. Now remember that Yana instead of a Yama, a Yana, that's the feminine tense, right? Now Akwa, that's a good guess. Abba Yana was a very good guess. Okay, that's why I was also letting you know that you're not, if you wanted to give it a shot, you can, but I'm still going to break it down to you. That was a very good guess, but that's still, right? That's still based off of the noun, all right, being masculine. Okay, that yana, that yana right there is still letting you know that that's still based off of a masculine noun. Does that make sense? And then that yana, that na at the end is just letting you know that there is just a group of sisters. That's all. Okay, it's talking, it's just a group of sisters. For sure, no brothers are involved, just a bunch of sisters. That's what that na is there for. Does everybody understand what I'm getting at? I'm breaking down what the sister was saying. That yana is not putting it in the feminine tense. That yana is really letting you know that this is just a group, that there is a group of sisters. All right. That abana just would be their father, which would be singular. Their father, but in the feminine tense of those are that's their father, as in that's their sister's father. All right, because Abba is father, right? Right. So just let you know, Abba now would be their father, singular, letting you know that there is feminine, not the entire broad perspective of the noun itself isn't feminine. That yana is also, that na is letting you know that this there is feminine, not the noun. That's letting you know that the pronoun is feminine. Let me know if you understand that, Aqua. That na that you see is letting you know that that's the there, and it's letting you know that that's feminine. Okay, yeah, okay, Most High in Christ. That's the feminine part. So not so much the noun, because the noun is masculine no matter what. But because we're speaking in the feminine tense overall, we're going to make this noun no longer masculine, but feminine. Okay? But we're going to keep the there masculine. Does that make sense, everyone? We're going to, in this example, we're going to keep the there masculine. Okay? We're going to keep this masculine. Maybe that'll help. So like if I'm confusing anyone, we're going to keep this there masculine. It's not going to be feminine. So use the ma instead. So now your guess was what again?
It will be Abba, it'll be Abba, Abba, Yanawa.
La'ah. So now the brother was close at one point. So the brother said Abba Wafma. Also the brother, the young man, he also said Abba Wafna. He's close, but now brother, I don't want you to use the na. I want you to use the ma in this case because I want to keep this masculine for because that's what the scripture says. Okay, even though you're correct of getting it there. So now remember, Abawa is making it plural, right? So right. So you see that Abawa? Now that Abba, we got one part of it so far. Like I might be blocking it. So we got half of it, right? We got half of it. We got the father's part. But we don't have a what? We're missing the what? We're missing the possessive pronoun. We need the there, which would be the ma. We're going to add a ma. Right? So now you see Abawafma. Now, here we go. I want everyone. Right, we're missing the possessive. Here's the possessive. The ma. That's the possessive. That's the there. All right, that's the there. Ma is how you say there in the masculine tense. So the there is masculine while everything else is in the feminine form. Okay? Or in the feminine tense. So Abawafma. Now, a lot of you would say this is correct. Right? A lot of y'all would leave it like this. And a lot of us might say this is correct. No, because it's not, the Bible is not going to say it like this. Okay? Now, let's see if anyone might be able to figure this out. Or maybe not. I'm going to give it to y'all. So, the same rule applies. Right? You see this right here? We're going to take the Y out. This is how you would say it. Abafma. Abama. Abafma. All right? It's Abafma. Abafma is how you would say their fathers. So to bring it together, so it can be closer together, TH. All right, Abafma. You drop that Y, it still comes from Y. It still comes from Y. Just like in the masculine tense, it came from young. But in the masculine, you dropped the ya. I mean, it's like you kept the ya. In the Y, you dropped the wa. Everybody understand? Does everybody get it? Yes or no? Let me know. So that's why if you read, I'm going to read it again. All right, I'm going to read it one more time. In Numbers chapter 1, right? Numbers chapter 1, verse 2, it says, Sha'awa, Ra'ash, Kaul, Aida, Banyaya Sha'ala, Lama Sepakah Ma. That Masapakah, right? That Masapakah is also, if you guys don't get it, this is just an example. I'm going to get the chart for you on how I want you guys to write it. Right. Abathma, their fathers. Right. So when it says labaya, abathma, that's saying fathers. All right. That's like if you wanted to say names, Sham is name, but names is Shamwa. Right, because it's being pluralized, okay, in the entire feminine tense. Now it might be okay, so he said, I think I get it. So now with that being said, I'm gonna take this off the board and I'm gonna get the chart. I'm gonna give you guys the chart to make it to pretty much make it make sense for you. All right. Now this is if it's in the entire. That's if. Now remember, this is only when you're making. This is only when the noun needs to be put in the feminine tense, okay, and it needs to be pluralized at the same time, okay. And I'm gonna get. How can I say this? Right. So remember, still the same. So it's still set up, but here you go. Yah stays the same. All right. Then it's ka, right? Your, then wa, is, ha, her. All right. Of course, this th, which is the tha, you're going to add it at the end of a noun. Okay. The reason behind it, okay, is just to let you know that this is a part of a possessive pronoun for pluralized. Okay. This is just letting you know that the noun itself is pluralized and that that would already be there. Just like that would already be there. But you're really just adding the possessive pronoun to that pluralized structure. Does everybody get the point? So this is how you'll pluralize it. You would only use this in conjunction with a pluralized noun in the feminine, or so to say, the subservient tense. If the entire sentence is being in the subservient tense, like the Lord is speaking to us, this is where this applies. Now, remember, remember how I was saying the way we speak is not how the Bible is written. Okay? The way we write is going to be different on how we speak. Why am I saying this? Let's say you're a brother, right? And you're a man. And let's say you have a wife and you're talking to your wife. You don't have to, if you don't want to, you don't have to go, crazy Joe, all right, and start pluralizing everything in an entire feminine tense because you're talking to your rib, because you want to show authority. Now you can if you would like to, but there's no penalty, right? But if you're writing something, there's a penalty. Because why? Why would there be a penalty in a way? Because we need to know the context. Of course, if you're just talking to your wife, imano, right? Face to face, y'all know. Y'all know who we're talking to. You know what I'm saying? One on one. You're my rib. I'm your, I'm your man, whatever, whatever the case may be. I'm your husband. All right. You're my wife. We know who we're talking to. I don't need to go all crazy ham in my sentences to get you to know that I'm talking to you. Unless I necessarily need to do so, because you're not listening. Who knows? I don't know. But you guys get it. But if I'm writing and I'm writing to someone to explain to someone who I'm talking to, and I have to explain according to our language, I'm speaking to my wife, I would start writing it like this if I'm ever pluralizing my nouns, okay, when it comes to speaking in the entire subservient or feminine tense. Does everybody understand? Let me know if you guys get it. I'm kind of going over time, Salakia. It's a little late. I'm going a little over time. But I wanted to get this out the way because once you start reading the Hebrew, all right, once you take the Hebrew serious, you're going to want to read it. And then once you start reading the Hebrew, some stuff might look weird to you. You're going to be like, well, why does it do this? Why does it do that? This is us getting into the grammar now. Okay, this is the grammar part of everything. All right, this is the grammar. This is like the rules. Like, remember, think about it. Think about how you're taught English. You're not taught grammar like that when you're like 4 or 5. All right, you're still learning how to say apple, car, race, run, kitchen. Like you're just learning a bunch of words. All right, and then over time, you start learning. I forgot what they call it. My daughter comes home every day. Sight words. I think they call it sight words. All right, you start learning sight words because now you're being introduced into reading, right? Because of course, when you speak, when you learn how to talk, you're gonna have to know how to read. And once you learn how to read, you're gonna learn how to write. I believe back in the day, what's that thing called? The electric company. What was that joint? It was the electric company, right? If you know how to talk, if you know how to speak, then you know how to read. If you know how to read, you know how to write. I believe that was the electric company. Am I right? I think so. I don't remember. Salaki. It's been so long. But something like that, right? It's a process, right? Sight words, right? There's a process to everything. Right? There's a process to everything. So no one's just going to throw just a bunch of grammar at you right away. You'll get lost and confused. If I start talking to my daughter about semicolons and colons and commas and when to use parentheses and brackets and start talking about, right, like conjunctions and functions and things like that, her mind would explode. She would be like, what are you talking about? Okay, that's because writing is different than speaking. All right. Writing is different than speaking. All right. So when you're reading the Hebrew, so when you're reading something, the way you write something grammatically in the Hebrew, this is all this is the introduction to it. All right. I'm gonna get the rest of them. It's the same concept. I'm gonna get the rest of them just for teaching purposes. For this informational purposes, I'm gonna just finish it out. All right. Finish it out for y'all. I believe I know. Like it. And here's the rest of them on the board. Oh, the sister, the electric company, conjunction, junction. What is your function? Right, that's the electric company. And I don't know if y'all, yeah, back in the day, you know, back in the day, that was the joint right there. Conjunction, junction. What's your function? All right. So here you go. This is the rest of them. There's a pattern to it. Nothing really changes. Like your possessive pronouns will always be the same. It'll always be nawa for our, kam for y'all, kan for y'all, depending on the tense. It will always be ma, na, depending on the tense. But you're only changing what's in front of it in order to pluralize the noun in a certain tense. So of course, if you're pluralizing the noun in the masculine tense, it would be a ya in front of it. All right. But if you're pluralizing it, all right, in the feminine tense, that's why that tha is in front of it all. Okay. So this is pronounced nawa, kam, fakan, ma, na. Now I'm not saying thama, I'm saying na. Because remember, it's coming from wa. This all comes from wa. Okay? Let me put that at the bottom. Wa. Wa. Everything stems from wa. All of this is stemming from the pluralization of wa. Because wa is how you pluralize nouns in the feminine tense. All right? I'll give y'all some time to write that down, but everybody does understand that online. You said already con already, right? So Laki, I went a little bit over time. Class also kind of because of technical difficulties, we but Salakia. But I want to make sure I got that lesson out because once you start reading the Bible, you're gonna start seeing things. You're going come to class on Fridays, and also what you're going to have to do. All right. No one listens to me for some reason. All right. No one listens. Salakia. Read the Bible. All right. Read it in the Hebrew. Get you a Hebrew Bible and just read it. Try to, get used to. It's going to be tough at first, right? Learn the alphabet. Study the alphabet. Memorize the alphabet. And then just do your best to read. All right. Just practice it. Reading the Bible in Hebrew is what's going to help you speak Hebrew. All right. If you don't read the Bible in Hebrew, you're not going to speak it. I promise you, you're not going to know how to speak Hebrew if you don't read the Bible. You have to read it in Hebrew. You want to know how brothers and sisters start speaking fluently in Hebrew? They read the Bible. They read it. You wonder why Captain Ash, I don't know if you guys ever heard Captain Ash read the Bible in Hebrew. And if you guys ever heard Captain Natazak Nashai read the Bible in Hebrew, but they speak it very fast and they read it very fast. Like I'm trying to get on their level, right? The reason why they can read it so fast is because they read it all the time. The reason why they can speak the Hebrew so fast because they read it all the time. All right? You want to make the Hebrew your primary language and then the English your secondary language. Like that's how much you want to read Hebrew. Like I tell people all the time, my first language is Hebrew and my second language is English. And they look at me like I got 4 heads and 15,000 eyes because for some reason I can't speak 2 languages. All right. And some reason my first language can't be English. All right. But I tell them that purposely. I like my first language is Hebrew. And my second language is English. And they try to debate me up and down how my first language should be English, and it's not. I tell them all the time, English is not my first language. That's just the language I have to speak because y'all wouldn't understand me any other kind of way. Because if I just start speaking in Hebrew to y'all, no one would quite understand what the hell I'm saying. All right. Make sure you guys put this into your notes. All right. With that, I say imagine, which means to stand. We're going to give a courage salute to the brothers. All right. Men of Israel, Madam Shabbat, Amadu, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Rakatah, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Rakatah, Yahweh Matah, Saw, God walk and turn face sisters, men of Israel. I'm going to give a courage salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Madam Shabbat, Amadu, Barak, Yahweh Shema Lathan by Shem Yahshua, Yahweh Matah. With that, class dismissed.